Hey guys, it's Justin once again, and I'm coming to you on a nice Monday afternoon, and we're gonna pull out from the archives here. Yeah, like I have enough stuff for archives. We're gonna pull out the All-Star tribute to Brian Wilson. Um, little focus there. I highly enjoyed this tribute. This is one of the first I ever really got into. Um, this premiered on TNT on July 4th, and that would be 2001, I believe. And actually, I had to videotape it because I was at a Brian Wilson concert that night. It was in Indianapolis, what we used to call Deer Creek, and now was Verizon, and I can't even remember what it is now. I'm sure someone could correct me. Anyway, I had to record it, and there it is. It was presented by TNT, and They Know Drama, of course. And so it was one of the first things I really taped after having watched like the American Family uh, uh, TV film. And I highly enjoyed this tribute. Had a lot of great people in it. A lot of people I knew. I believe this was actually filmed a couple of months earlier, and maybe in April or so. I'm not exactly sure. I'm not sure if it would say okay, there it is. March 29th, 2001. I was kind of close. So they did this. Unfortunately, this is only half the program, and the TV version is just about the same as this. I would say there was a couple of edits, but nothing, just a couple of camera angles that may have been different, or where it went on commercial or something. So, anyways, it was really a treat when I came back from the concert. It was during the time Brian was opening for Paul Simon, and so it was my first Beach Boys concert ever. And I came home and instantly watched this and couldn't fall asleep because I had to watch the whole thing. It was pretty awesome. So what we have here started out with Our Prayer by the Boys Choir of Harlem, which is pretty amazing. It's very, you know, if this was a tribute to Mike Love, there was no way they would open with Our Prayer. No way. And it's just pretty amazing that they did that. Then we kind of go over Ricky Martin doing Help Me. Any Rhondas out there tonight? Oh, geez, give me a break, really. I mean, it's great. What to watch during this part, don't skip it. Just watch Brian's band perform amazing like they do every night. Then we have Paul Simon's version of Surfer Girl. I truly love this version of Surfer Girl. My favorite version of Surfer Girl is from the Late in Hawaii rehearsals. That was the last track on the bonus CD of the Good Vibrations box set, which I reviewed my last videos. And this version is just Paul's voice is so great. I've heard a lot of feedback that a lot of people loved it. It's just really good. I really wish this would have came out on a CD. I'm sure copyrights and, you know, everybody's artistry, you know, getting credits and all that probably would have been a huge mess. So I guess I understand that. So Surf City by the Go-Go's. Pretty good. I don't really know the Go-Go's very well. I didn't then. I still don't. Then we have, and it's the picture on the side here, David Crosby, Carly Simon, and Jimmy Webb performing In My Room, which is a great trio. Of course, I knew who David Crosby was and Carly Simon. I didn't know Jimmy Webb very well. I know him a little better now. And actually, I believe Brian just sang backing vocals. You should go look it up for Jimmy Webb's MacArthur Park, and it's really good. You should go check that out. Anyway, this trio of In My Room I always enjoyed. Then Vince Gill sings Warmth of the Sun. Oh my goodness, it's such a good vocal. Honestly, Vince Gill nails it. The Warmth of the Sun. It's just so good. Um, I Get Around by Evan and Jaron. I do not know who Evan and Jaron are. It's nice they wear striped shirts like the guys did in the early days, but I do not know who these guys are. That's nice they included them. Elton John doing God Only Knows, which was fantastic. And I will point out here, this they did God Only Knows, and the event itself actually had the whole Pet Sounds album performed live, but it was everybody, all the different artists and stars did different songs from Pet Sounds. So obviously you had Elton John doing God Only Knows. You'd have um, who was it? Jubilant Sykes, I think, did That's Not Me. Um, you had either, I think, Matthew Sweet doing Sloop John B. No. That was David Crosby did Sloop John B. I'm really not familiar with it. I've not heard it. I've not seen any release, not even bootlegs, rarity releases of that. I've not heard anything about it really. I've heard some people talk about it, but not much since then. Um, I really wish they would have released like a second disc of more of the songs performed. So anyway, obviously, as this flows pretty well, it had to be edited heavily, obviously. So this didn't actually happen in this order, as they would lead you to believe. Not that there's anything wrong with this DVD or this tribute. That's just the way it is. I'm sure a lot of things are like that. I just wasn't made for these times by Amy Mann and Michael Penn. I didn't know who they were. Uh, I did really like their vocals. I've not heard a lot of great things about them singing this, but I totally enjoy it. Um, and about Elton John singing God Only Knows, I think it's really awesome. I know I didn't say much about it. I'm sure I've just released or talked about technical babble and all that. But, Elton's voice is pretty awesome on that degree. Billy Joel's version of Don't Worry Baby, I love his vocals on this. It's really awesome. I truly enjoy it. It's a really good track for him to sing, and he brings that Billy Joel to it. The way he sings his songs. The Sailor and Sailor with Darius Rucker and Matthew Sweet. Pretty good version. I believe they were Hootie and the Blowfish, I believe. And then Wilson Phillips gets introduced for You're So Good to Me. And I really enjoy their version they did of that. They all look great, especially Carney Wilson. Then Hart, Jubilant Sykes, Boys Choir of Harlem do Good Vibrations. It's a pretty good version. It's not my favorite, but it's alright. And then Surf's Up with David Crosby, Vince Gill, and Jimmy Webb. David Crosby, let's see. Who sang what? Okay, I think Vince Gill did the first two stanzas because he had the voice for the Collimated Ruins Domino. And then Jimmy Webb played piano on the part that's right after the first two verses. And then David Crosby came in for the Surf's Up. And so it's just really a really awesome job. I truly enjoyed that part. Brian gets introduced for Heroes and Villains. It's great to hear that. I believe there's a story about it on the Beautiful Dreamer documentary about how he just was at a party and just went off on the Heroes and Villains on piano, and everybody's like, no way, he hasn't performed this since like 1967, in Hawaii. Usually in concerts, he just would leave the stage when they would perform this. So it was great to see that performed. And of course, I heard it performed the night I was at Brian Brian's concert. So it was introduced as a couple of songs that'll make you smile. So it was like Our Prayer, Heroes and Villains, Maybe Surf's Up. I think that was the three songs I did. Then Wouldn't It Be Nice with Elton John and Brian. And then the encore, Barbara Ann, Fun, 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 and Love and Mercy. Which had, the all-star ensemble. I believe, just noteworthy, I think Ricky Martin did not participate at the last parts. He must have had something else to do. Who cares? No. So, no biggie. I believe, I want to say my tape had Surfing USA performed with the ensemble as well as an encore. I could be mistaken, but I want to say that was part of the encore. And then Love and Mercy, which is a great version with the Boys Choir of Harlem. And a bonus track, they do Do It Again, and it's with Carl's son, Justin Wilson. So it's kind of cool they got that out there. So we'll open up here, and we have more notes. We got the disc here with, I thought Brian's eyes looked kind of odd on this. You probably can't tell on there. But I would totally go out and get this. There are some good bonuses with this. There's interviews. Wow, I haven't read this for a whole while. But here's the... I'm sorry, I thought that was the list of musicians they interviewed. That was just credits of his band. Some good pictures from that night, though. And so, I'm going to have to reread this sometime. I kind of forgot this came with a booklet, not that it's anything big. But there was also Sir George Martin, Phil Ramone, Dennis Hopper, let's see here. Oh, Chaz Palminteri was the host of everything. Rachel Hunter came out and talked about California. Cameron Crowe was out there talking about Pet Sounds. I want to say, I don't think it's included on this DVD, but in the TNT TV version, they show part of Almost Famous, the main character get out his sister Zooey Deschanel's records, and it shows Pet Sounds at the very front there. So that was always cool. Want to point out here, Sail on Sailor, usually has a lot of credits there. Kind of odd we have John F. Riley, because I'm pretty sure that's Jack Riley who was credited on that. And where's Van Dyke Parks? He was credited on that as well. I don't know the order of everything, but he was on there. So, of course, we have a photo gallery. I'll have to pop this in and say, hey, where's the who gets interviewed? I believe everybody from the tribute does get interviewed about Brian and everything that night, so it's well worth watching. And some of the live stuff does get played when they kind of play mini biographies and such, or little 5-minute things about Brian's life. And so they do play like the Pet Sounds instrumental behind the opening, and then they use like I Know There's an Answer, I'm Waiting for the Day, Sloop John B, Lay Down Burden was played. One of my favorite parts where it's talking about the life of Brian by Dennis Hopper, not the Monty Python movie, but the life of Brian, um, talking about it, how hard his life was, and from the beginning, and talking about Pet Sounds into Smile, and uh, I want to say it kind of, Dennis Hopper, of course, has known a lot of, been through a lot of stuff like that, I would assume. And I know he had a problem with drugs and drinking and such. But there's a great part where he's just like, Brian had to shut down. And it plays, down, lay me down. And, plays Lay Down Burton, which is just so, it's not, it doesn't go with the time that they're talking about around after Smile, but to me it's like heartbreaking. Like it does fit it, even though it came out on an Imagination album around 98, 99, it does fit that situation almost somewhat, even though the song is more about Carl. And speaking of Lay Down Burden, I believe it was played live that night. I'm sure Justin Wilson played with him as well. Really wish they would have included that with this. I can't think of any other items that was played live. I do believe Caroline No was performed by Brian that night as well, ending the album.